May you please take your seats. Honorable Minister and your team from the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance, my name is Bashasha Willis. I'm the Director Manifesto at the Presidency. And on behalf of the Presidency, which supervises the implementation of the manifesto, I take pleasure to welcome you and thank you for coming. But I also want to emphasize this point that this activity is jointly hosted by us and you. So we want to, first of all, our viewers, wherever you are, to know that this activity is being hosted by both of us, the two entities of the Presidency and the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance. And we want to thank you for the efforts that have been put in for the successes that we have so far registered along the way. However, at your sectoral level, Minister, this sector is a vital sector as an enabler in the journey for socio-economic transformation. Many of the proposed interventions in our manifesto are in the area of creation of wealth and, and jobs. So we know that the sector plays a very big role, and it has also been one of the key sectors that the President keeps talking about on how it can change our society from peasantry to modernity. So, Honorable Minister, I want to welcome you. I don't want to take a lot of time in the background. You are in cabinet and you supported this paper. I only want to say that here, this is not a baraza, it's not a political rally. We are just using technology as a medium to reach out to as many eyes and ears, wherever they are, for this information. Specifically, we are here to celebrate through accountability of the journey of how far we have gone in as far as the different commitments that were pledged to the citizens, how far we are. So this afternoon, the country will be excited to listen to the story played by the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance in ensuring that the different commitments that we made in this sector are on the right track. So without wasting much of your time, allow me now, Honorable Minister, to invite you. You come and address the country on what I have shared with you here. After your presentation, we'll have observations from the unit, and then we'll invite some questions from our partners who are the media on a number of issues that may want to raise with you, and then we'll again invite you to come and make responses, but we will also be at liberty to invite any of your technical teams to come and support you in this area. Maybe before you finally come, allow me to introduce you my team that I work with at the Manifesto Implementation Unit. I I see Assistant Director Richard Bakoja, who is here. I think the rest could be busy with other activities. I also want to recognize the IC team that we have been working with, the technical team from your ministry. Imelda and team, please stand up for recognition. These people have represented you well in the organization, of course being led and guided by your Commissioner Moses Watasa. So we are very, very grateful. We also have representatives of OWC who are also part of the oversight in this President's office, represented by Honorable Kataike. And this morning, the session was blessed by the presence of the Right Honorable Deputy Secretary General, who had pledged she would be here again. Maybe if we are lucky, she may come in. So that's part of the audience that's before you, Honorable Minister. So now, Honorable Minister, please come and address the country, and we proceed. Thank you.
Thank you very much, my long-time friend, Willis Basasha, who is Director Manifesto. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to say we are happy to be here to share with you what we are doing as far as manifesto implementation is concerned. But before I introduce the whole topic, let me first call upon the rest of my technical officers who have not been introduced by Mr. Bashasha to also introduce themselves, starting with our Permanent Secretary. You can introduce yourselves while you're seated. I'm standing on your behalf.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. My name is Dr. Amina Zawadi. I'm the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance.
Thank you, Honorable Minister, and our host, Dr. Frederick Shogo, and the Prince of the Ministry of ICT.
Good afternoon, Honorable Minister and everyone. Winston Akaba David, I'm the Managing Director, Uganda Broadcasting Corporation, the national broadcaster.
Good afternoon, Honorable. And our host, my name is Julian Mohire. I'm the Director Economic Regulation, Content and Consumer Affairs of the Uganda Communications Commission, and here representing the Executive Director.
Thank you very much. The Permanent Secretary and Minister of Information, Communication Technology and National Guidance, the Director, Manifesto Implementation, and all the technical people who are here. I'm Kabianga Godfrey Baruku. I'm the State Minister for Information, Communication Technology and National Guidance, in charge of National Guidance. And you should mark the comma, because whenever we are here, you just say ICT and National Guidance. But you should know that it is Information, Communication Technology and National Guidance. And that comma is very important, because apart from being the people in charge of digital transformation, we are also in charge of disseminating information. And we are also in charge of guiding the nation into being very good citizens. So we also deal with ideological orientation, the correct line. So that's what this ministry does. But today, let me first of all bring apologies from my minister, the Honorable Dr. Chris Ibariomusi, who is our senior minister. He has not been able to be with us. He has been called for another meeting, very important meeting, but within the country. and Honorable Joyce Sebugwao. She's also representing us somewhere else. Otherwise, they would have been happy to be here with us. Today, we are here to present, to represent the ICT sector, and we shall concentrate on digital transformation. But the PS will also give something about information and also something about national guidance. But specifically here, it is digital transformation. And the transformation program under National Development Plan 3 is to increase ICT penetration and use of ICT services for social and economic development. And the main objectives are to increase the national ICT infrastructure coverage, to enhance usage of ICT in national development, to promote research, innovation, and ICT skills development, and to strengthen the policy, legal, and regulatory framework, and also increase the ICT human resource capacity. And these objectives in the National Development Plan 3 are consistent with the priorities, ICT priorities in the manifesto, NRM Manifesto of 2021-2026. And as you are all aware, it has overemphasized 3 sectors: commercial, agriculture, industry, services, and ICT. But I would also like to inform you that ICT is the driver of the rest of the 3 sectors, because now the whole world is going digital in everything, including agriculture, because we must be able to predict the weather, we must be able to look at the soils, whether they are convenient for a particular crop, and I think we are going to show you how we are doing it and what we are planning for this country in that sector. There is no way now you can go into industry without digitizing. These days, you can even operate your industry on remote, even when you are here. And all those are issues which we are going to talk about. Obviously, with the services, it is all about ICT, whether it is in telecommunication, whether it is in transport, everything is now digitized. And then we shall also tell you what we are doing as far as what you call ICT. a lot of time. I now invite our permanent secretary, Dr. Amina Zawede, who, apart from being a permanent secretary of Ministry of ICT, is also an expert in ICT. So she will give a very good presentation. I will wrap up with a political statement. Because for us, our work as politicians, it is to open and close. So can you come and do my work, and then I will close. So don't close before I come back. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, and your deputy, as well as members present. Who is moving the slide? Somebody is doing it for me. Thank you. Honorable members, this presentation is going to follow as presented. We're going to give a brief background on what our role is as Ministry of ICT and national guidance in the implementing the NRM Manifesto. We shall then have our performance, how we have performed, and then conclude with the challenges. So I cannot overemphasize, or I shall overemphasize the importance of ICT as highlighted by the Minister in the journey of socio-economic transformation of this country. Under Section 4.7 of the Manifesto 2021-2026, it is emphasized that ICT is essential in improving, given its potential to make government and enterprises more efficient, effective, globally competitive, and I cannot forget to say transparent. The NRM therefore aspires to use ICT for e-education, e-security, e-governance, e-extension to deliver government services better in the different sectors we have, including agriculture. The manifesto highlights 3 critical areas for the ICT sector, and these include increasing ICT network coverage and penetration. It also highlights the fact that the ICT sector should promote the utilization of ICT, and we should also enhance digital skills and innovation. On that slide, we give of what we have achieved in the areas that I have pointed out. We see that, I hope I had got a mobile microphone. We see that we have so far set up 5,000 hours that are supported to spread out communication and connectivity. We have been able to build 33,653 kilometers of fiber. Today we see that 45 million, thank you very much. That we have 45 million mobile subscriptions that are registered and However, we have 37 million of these that are active. Okay, so the audience, please stick to the screen while I will stick to my paper because I can't move away from the mic. Then when it comes to fixed line subscriptions, we have 131,000 fixed lines that are being used for communication. Then on the side of mobile money transactions, we have 41.2 million accounts that are active for mobile phone transactions. We have today 27.5 million of these accounts active for the last 3 months or 90 days. And we have 21.3 million accounts that are active as at last month. We have also seen an increase in mobile money agents, and to date we have 667,000 mobile agents across the country. Of course, with the increase in these mobile money agents as well as the registered mobile money accounts, it is evident that the mobile phone access has increased. In terms of numbers, we have 2.1 million Ugandans with basic phones. No, not Ugandans, but we have 2.1 million basic phones. Someone can have more than one. And then we have 25 million feature phones and 15 million smartphones. We have 48,133 fixed internet subscriptions, meaning that if you want to go to internet in offices, internet in homes, we have 48,133. And then we have 16 million mobile internet subscriptions, or those who have on their phones. I'm very certain that you're among the numbers that connected phone. Then in terms of we have country geographic 2G. For how much we have currently, mainly in Kampala. When it comes to pay TV services, we have 5 pay TV service providers as at. And, in terms of the number of radio stations, we have 300. These are statistics as at last year, 2023. The number of TV stations, that is the local TV stations, has increased from 17 in 2016 to 48 in 2023. And the active pay TV subscriptions have also increased from 777,588 in 2016 to 2 in 2023. So that, mobile phone subscription and ICT usage. Honorable Minister and members are now going to go to the sector performance of the implementation of the manifesto commitments and strategic guidelines and directives from presidential directives and cabinet directives between 2021 and 2026, but we are reporting as at 2023. I'll start with the ICT network coverage and penetration. We have seen an improvement in access to ICTs leveraging on voice coverage. We have mobile cellular voice coverage covering almost the entire country. The mobile cellular geographic signal coverage stands at 89% of the country, and this translates into a population coverage of 72% for basic voice. So today, I think almost everywhere, if you can somebody and you will make the voice calls. In terms of broadband coverage, we have coverage of broadband services standing at 85% of the population, meaning that today, if you're trying to do access to broadband or internet services, you can get up to 85% of the population engaged. In terms of ICT infrastructure development, so far to date, we have a total of 4,387 kilometers of optic fiber cable laid across 57 districts out of the 135 districts of Uganda, and this represents 42%. We have 1,567 government institutions or government sites connected to the national backbone or to the fiber, and these are ministries, departments, agencies, and local governments. The of internet has also reduced from $205 US in the financial year 21-22. I think I think that was 2020-21. It reduced from 205 to $70 in 21-22, and then later on decreased to 35 USD in the financial year 23-24. So please media mark that correction. 21-22 is not 205 but $70. Internet penetration has increased from 25% in 2017 to 67% in 2023-2024. When it comes to ICT infrastructure development, I talked about the fiber number of kilometers we have built in the beginning when I was giving the overview, but that is an illustration of how the fiber network has increased over the years from 19,709 in 2019 to now 33,653 kilometers that we do every year. So when you sum up all that, we get the total that I initially mentioned of 4,800, over 4,807 kilometers. That includes, the coverage is including also last mile connectivity coverage. For internet, when we talk about the fiber is the main highway of internet. But you know, when you're using a highway like Entebbe Express or the Northern Bypass, the tributaries that take you off to Kasubi or see that is the last mile to your home. So even with the internet, we have last mile to hospitals, last mile to schools, last mile to government offices. So we count that as part of the coverage of a network. A national data center and a disaster recovery site have also set up. These are fully equipped with the state-of-the-art technology which is utilized for centralized hosting, disaster recovery, and other data center services for government applications and data. In terms of how good this data center is, it is rated as a tier 3. Tier 3 is one of the highest level data centers when it comes to specifications globally, and that is what our national data center is. The national data center currently has 306 applications that belong terrestrial TV and radio signal coverage that have improved from 56% for TV and 80% for radio in 2017, and 90% for radio by the end of June 2023. The government of China, in conjunction with StarTimes, has installed StarTimes satellite equipment in 900 villages across the country as part of the implementation of the satellite TV equipment grant. We have put up additional 17 towers in partnership with a company called Taco Africa at the following sites. We have one in Nabata in Napak, Ochipi in Amuru, Telela Ongom in Pader district, Nambieso in Kwania, Otada A in Noya, Ayeki in Otuke, Kabong, Otul in Kabong, Ranyamabare in Kitagwenda, among others. Laboratory 1,400 institutions. 5 schools have been provided with subsidized high-speed internet. We have also set up 37 libraries by the public. That is in line with infrastructure. Then on the line of digital services, we have also been able to accomplish a number of services that I'm going to talk about. We have been able to digitize some of the government services, and we have developed and rolled out these services in different ministries, departments, and agencies. The that we have rolled out include the electronic government procurement system, or what we call the EGP system, the integrated health management information system is supporting us to manage hospitals. The EGP system is digitizing procurement, so we are able to procure online. Suppliers are able to register online, and bids are publicized online, and so on and so forth. Then we have the online business registration system, that the URSB, Uganda Registration Services Bureau, and with that system we do register businesses. Today, if you want to do you have a business and you want to register, you just go to that. It will be completed in a few hours. We have the Education Management Information System under Ministry of Education. This has been used, or is being used, to register students, register teachers. We get to register the schools, and this system has supported government education grants to hospitals, because to know how many students, schools, you get to know how many students in a school, how many teachers, therefore what do they need, and you will be able to give money based on the data that is available. We also have the e-post under Posta Uganda that is being used to do electronic addresses. Back in the days, for those of you who are older in this room, we had post office numbers and post boxes, which we still have, but very inconvenient, because how many times do you use that postal box? But today you can get an electronic one using address where you can be you can be reached. Then the electronic document management system that we call eDocs, that has been rolled out or implemented in institutions, service, Ministry of Trade. It is being rolled out in Ministry of Finance and Ministry of Justice to roll it out across government. So we are going to get to a point where you no longer see paper files in government offices. We also developed a management system, and this system has been used to register all, not all, but has been used to register households and beneficiaries of the PDM money. Today, we know where to find who was lent the PDM money, and we will get to know when they get the money back, or when they pay the money back, and what they have used the money for. So this system is helping us to be able to monitor and manage the parish development model. But in addition to that, working with the security agencies, we have also been able to develop a system that is verifying what the beneficiaries have got, but also monitoring exactly what they're using the money for on ground. Because if you get if a beneficiary gets the money for rearing goats, and then we find that they're using it for something else, that is something that has to be documented as follow-up. So ladies and gentlemen, today, especially after COVID, we as government, as well as the country, have appreciated the need to go digital for so many reasons: for convenience, for efficiency, for effective service delivery, for accountability, and therefore, in the end, we shall be eliminating corruption. 62% of government services are currently offered electronically via institutional websites, emails, social media, SMS, and mobile applications. Today, if an entity does not have a website, it is, I don't even think there is an entity without a website currently in government, because all of them have developed websites. This statistics on PDM, I had already that. In the interest of time, I will just emphasize the fact that this PDM, Parish Development Management Information System, has been rolled out to all 10,594 parishes across the country, and it has been integrated with banks as well as wallets like the Wendy wallet and the Post Bank. Other achievements that we have attained under digital services include a data sharing and integration platform called the UG Hub, which has been rolled out to 146 entities across government and the private sector. In government, we have rolled it out to 64 public institutions, and then in the private sector, we have rolled it out to 82 institutions to date. This platform is ensuring seamless exchange of information between systems and reducing operation costs. And I think to bring more light or shed more light on this, all of us have been witnesses of systems that keep asking us for the same information. You go to the bank, you ask for your credentials, name, date of birth, your dependents, etc. When you go for the passport, the same thing. When you go to another, maybe tax URL, same information will be asked. So this platform is helping us to integrate these systems so that you give in your information once when you're registering, and it will not be asked for again for other systems. Then we have the unified messaging and collaboration system being used in government, and it has been rolled out to 149 ministries, departments, and agencies, and this has improved communication and collaboration in government. So we see things like the government email, whereby when we are sending emails, we are encouraging government officers not to use their personal emails, Gmails, Yahoo, and so on, but to use government emails, and this has been rolled out to those 149. We have rolled out the digital authentication and e-signatures platform that we call the UG Pass. This rollout is currently ongoing, and it will enable us to have end-to-end delivery of government services, so that when you apply for a government services, you apply for it, pay for it online, and you'll get the service delivered online. Because for some cases, you do register and then you have to go off to pay to the bank. We want you to stay on the platform until the end without having to first sign out. Under the e-post digital platform, this has been developed and deployed at the General Post Office, like I said earlier, and 48 upcountry branches have used this platform to support mail processing and allocation of e-addresses as well as physical addresses. A customs declaration system has also been developed and deployed to expedite clearance of postal items by the Customs Department of Uganda Revenue Authority. That is on the services. We also have contributed to digital skilling and innovation. Under digital skilling, we have had a number of digital literacy initiatives. To date, a total of 15,658 citizens, primarily the youth and women from the business communities, have been equipped with essential basic and intermediate digital skills. A total of 1,694 government officers have also been trained in specialized ICT skills tailored to modern governance needs, government needs. The trainings focused on leveraging data analytics for informed policy making, conducting remote meetings to optimize time and resources, and supporting e-learning. Today, when I tell you about the systems that we have rolled out in government, procurement system, that is mainly used by the user departments, heads of departments, the procurement office, contracts committees, and so on and so forth. So they need to be trained on how to use these applications. So these trainings have been conducted as well. We have also trained 1,354 teachers and education practitioners on integrating ICT into education with a focus on Internet of Things and emerging technologies, cybersecurity, digital skilling, and general IT. 3,144 youths across the country have been trained in film making and acting, editing, directing, and distribution. We have trained 6,270 farmers in 50 districts, including Bududa, Bulambuli, Manafwa, Mbale, Namisindwa, Sironko, Bushenyi, Ntungamo, Mitoma, Kiruhura, Uganda, Isenjiro, Kotido, Kibuku, Budaka, Butaleja, Amuru, Gulu, Kitgum, Lambo, Noya, Pader, among others. 5,255 participants have been trained under the Community ICT program in various districts, and these have been from the following districts: Agago, Amudat, Amuria, Bundibujo, Kagadi, Kanu, Karenga, Kotido, Mo, Moyo, Ngora, Otuke, Bulisa, Butaleja, Buvuma, Kanunga, Kumi, Namisindwa, Kaliro, Kibuku, Namaingo, Alebtong, Kalaka, Sironko, Kaberamai, Tambala. 139 women have been trained in partnership with Women Technology Uganda, Spain, various districts. And these districts include the districts where women have been trained: Okolo, Otuke, and Kitgum, Buvuma, Buyende, Kriandongo, Nakapiripiripit, Kocha, Zombo, Nebi, Mayuge, Kayunga, Chenjojo, and districts. When it comes to the elderly, because we are not leaving anybody behind, these initiatives, we have been able to train 927 elderly partnership with the institute called TACO in Namisindwa, Siru, Manafwa, Buda, 4 regional centers and equipped them with assistive technologies and equipment. And this has been done in Arua, as an avenue to create employment opportunities for our young people. We are also doing this to promote substitution of ICT systems and to avoid over-dependence on foreign ICT products. A national ICT innovation hub with a capacity holding of over 500 innovators has been constructed in Nakawa at the Uganda Institute of Communications Technology, UICT. Innovation grants have been given to 132 innovators, and 6 private innovation hubs have been supported under the National ICT Initiative Support Program. 11 projects, innovations been developed and are in use in various sectors. In various sectors, these have been developed and pre-incubated. Maybe to remind you and re-emphasize the systems that I talked about that are being used in government: the e-procurement system, the education management information system, integrated health management information system, and the e-document record management system, as well as the parish development management information systems, have been developed by our own Ugandans, including our online business registration system. That deserves a hand clap. So we have the capacity to develop systems that we can use as a country, and of course this creates employment opportunities for our young people, because with systems we see that we have to develop, help them, but also the developers are employed as Ugandans. So in the agricultural sector, we have also engaged in the smart animal tag, where we are developing tags for animals that can be tracked. We have solar-powered silverfish dryers, smart car collision detection systems. We have automated farm irrigation, electronic walking sticks for the blind and deaf, solar-powered crop sprayers, and GSM-based weather monitoring systems. 3 regional ICT innovation hubs have been established at Kabale University, Soroti University, and Muni University. We have established locally by our innovators. We also contributed, seen a contribution of growth in the development initiatives like ICT parks. For example, land was acquired in Entebbe to set up an IT business process outsourcing park, and we so far a feasibility study has been conducted to establish the importance of having this park and what it will take to have it, and procured a transaction advisor that will guide us into seeing this setup. Design of the park have been developed, and market sounding exercise has been undertaken. That is to ensure that the design of the park that we want is a standard one, recognized internationally. We have also got a proposal from from a private from a private partner that is going to support us to set up this hub. Ladies and gentlemen, the President has over and over again emphasized the need, the fact that we can leverage on ICT to create employment opportunities for our young people, doing what the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance has established various partnerships to promote the business process outsourcing industry in Uganda. We have partnered with development partners, some of whom include UNDP, that has supported us to retool the National ICT Innovation Hub, and has also helped us to establish ICT business incubation hubs at public universities. With these innovation hubs, like what one UNDP launched with us was a university called the Unipod, where young people can come and explore the different technologies, explore how to use 3D printers and some of the latest softwares to be able to grow their innovations. We have also partnered with the Japanese government under JICA to support the implementation of an IT industry promotion project that has been geared towards strengthening the ICT ecosystem and creating jobs for Ugandan youth. Recently, a team of young people was taken to Japan. I think about a month ago. They were in Japan for a business matching a business matching trip, where companies in Japan were interested in the skill sets of our young Ugandans, and are going to later on employ them, but working virtually, working from Uganda for Japan. MasterCard Foundation conducted a business, we worked with MasterCard Foundation to conduct a business process outsourcing study that has supported the development of our business process outsourcing strategy. We have also developed a business process outsourcing policy that Cabinet approved that is going to support us to grow this industry. We also run a project, International Trade Center, aimed at opening up business process outsourcing companies. Ladies and gentlemen, we have ICT succeed without the right environment, without the right laws, regulations, and guidelines. We have had the principles in the ICT sector. We have a number of laws: Electronic Transactions Act, Computer Misuse Act, we have the Data Protection and Privacy Act, and so many others. And so currently we are saying with so many laws, some of them were developed some years back, and as a result of the transformation that we have, or transformation, you find that some of these laws are overlapping. So as a sector, we have reviewed the law. We want to come up with a comprehensive that we are going to Communication and Communications Bill that one of send it to, it becomes a law. Comprehensive, where all these coming up, artificial protection and all that, get one single law as opposed to having a multiple of them. So we are also going to rationalize our laws. While RAPEX of institutions is going on, we are also going to do a rationalization of our regulations in the sector. We have finalized the assets and liabilities of old UTL, Uganda Telecommunications Limited, to a new Uganda Telecommunications Corporation Limited, where all the infrastructure is going to be managed. Currently, we have infrastructure. We have fiber, for example, under Ministry of Energy. We have UTL. But we want to consolidate all this fiber and have it in one house. Consolidate all the centers, have them in one house. That way, we are going to have a better managed sector. Today, we see systems, we see systems mushrooming in different agencies. Systems are not each other, or each of these systems is storing data. So if we consolidate all this data in one house, then the challenges of sharing data are going to be no more. We have a business process outsourcing policy that has been approved by Cabinet and is now being implemented, so we have a policy in place. We are concluding our national ICT policy and the national guidance policy as the communication policy. And we are done with this financial this in place. In terms of regulations, laws, strategies, and then implementing guidelines. In terms of we have industry guidelines that include guidelines for access and use of the lower part of a spectrum band for fixed Wi-Fi. Technically, we call it the 6 gigahertz band, but these are strands within which we operate. But we have guidelines for accessing this. We have guidelines for utilization of the bands for wireless access networks in Uganda. We also have guidelines for commercial and SMS, and that is the short messaging that you get on your phones. For enabling TV access to persons with disabilities. On establishment and operation of in Uganda. We guidelines and usage of logic numbers, and of course, many of the old guidelines are and implemented by UCC, Uganda Communications Commission. We have also guidelines for utilization of spectrum and a compliance framework when operating in Uganda. We have a UCC framework for satellite communication in Uganda. We have frameworks for mobile network operators. Security guidelines for licensed operators, but we want to step that up so it's no longer minimal, but we are going to have cybersecurity. So as we do implement the ICT and mandate under the manifesto, as a ministry we have gone to come up with a roadmap, a digital transformation roadmap that is going to help us structure in the line. That roadmap has 5 areas of focus, and some of these are actually mapped on the manifesto requires us to do. In that roadmap, we are prioritizing infrastructure, digital infrastructure. We are prioritizing digital services, digital skilling, cybersecurity, and data protection and privacy, as well as innovation and entrepreneurship. So what I have reported against the skilling, innovation, entrepreneurship, the enabling environment that has the laws are also mapped on the key in the final of implementation include implementation and in the beginning I talked about an example of last mile using a highway. Yes, we are going to ensure that we do implementation. We ensure that schools are connected, hospitals are connected, government offices are connected, as well as many of the private sector entities where we know that business is ongoing. If we are setting up business process outsourcing centers, they have to be connected to the internet. We are also going to connect all service centers to the national backbone. Schools, hospitals, tourism sites, police, and local governments. The national backbone is going to connect them to the main line. I think some of you are in residence places where they say you're connected, and when it goes off. So we don't want schools, hospitals to be off connectivity. So we are saying they must be connected to the national backbone, including local. We are going to support the rollout and integration of e-services, such as the extension of e-education, e-health, e-agriculture, as well as remote collaboration solutions to digitally transform the public service in terms of service delivery. Lastly, we are going to develop and commercialize local ICT products. Bubu is not only going to stop with trade, but Bubu is also going to apply to ICT systems and products. And by doing we are going to build a critical mass of talent to develop applications and services through the ICT Innovation Fund and other innovation initiatives. While implementing our commitments in the issue of ICT, we have faced a number of challenges that I am going to highlight. But I will not only speak about the challenges, but I will also speak to the proposed mitigation measures. Maybe to have a better word, I'll say we are facing some obstacles, so much of challenges. First one is that in order for us, we have to automate government systems or processes, but this is still slow. However, our proposal or proposed mitigation measure is that we are supporting public and private institutions to review and re-engineer their processes to facilitate and quicken automation and delivery of services online. To elaborate on this, some institutions have been digitizing without first doing a review of their current system. We are digitizing part of the processes or not connecting the processes if they speak to each other, and then you find that is not impactful or effective. So we are going to do a comprehensive review of all processes in systems and then come up with a better automation method. The other obstacle is that we have an existence of many standalone systems in government that don't work in sync or don't speak to each other. And the measure that we propose is integration of existing systems by aligning them to each other, sharing functions. That is, we want to make them or to customize them to address the specialized needs of individual entities, as opposed to building new systems that duplicate each other. We also have a concern or an obstacle of inadequate ICT uptake across the country. With this proposal is that, of course, we have identified the cause of inadequate ICT uptake attributed to the fact that devices or smart devices are unaffordable for most of our population. The population that we have as a country is largely young. Population recently of about 6 million people has 77% of these people below the age of 30 years old. And the average age is 16 to 17 years old. So these people are not even working. They are still going to school, but they need to have mobile phones, or they need to have laptops and computers so that they're able to access online services or go online and utilize the internet. So in order to bring down the cost of these devices so that we have more people going on, we example is that we are, you know, there are smartphones that are less, people who have don't know, and high-end Samsung phones, because the who hold them can afford them. However, reduce the taxes or waive the taxes on the less, on the less expensive smartphones, so that everybody, or our children, our students, can be able to acquire these devices. And with that, we shall see that the uptake of ICT in the country will go high. With these regimes, we shall we propose that if this is done, ICT equipment will be affordable, and services will also improve with a view. No, services, just ignore this. The services will improve if we have more people utilizing internet services. Then we have also had a challenge of inadequate complementary utilities and services, such as electricity and road access, to support the rollout of ICT. We are now working closely with the various that we need to harmonize this infrastructure. We are now saying we are not taking internet where we don't have electricity. Because for you to have internet connectivity, for you to have a computer lab, you must be having electricity. For you to have a data center, there must be electricity. So we are working closely with Ministry of Energy for us to know where they're taking electricity, or to give them and work with the institutions like Ministry of Education to know where the schools, so that Ministry of Energy takes electricity there, and we follow that with internet connectivity. Also, we are partnering with Ministry of Works to ensure that as they do and construct their roads, we work with them to ensure that we are not digging when we are laying our fiber. We do not dig where they have already constructed. So as they are planning the road designs, we also are planning them to indicate where the fiber will pass, or so that they plan for ducts for that fiber. And in the end, we shall see more and more reduced after roads have been constructed. This one is not an obstacle, but a challenge. We have a challenge of budget cuts and inadequate release of funds during execution. The President has emphasized the importance of ICT, of ICT and what it can do to transform this country. However, the funds that are given to the ICT sector are really minimal. There are large budget cuts, and yet the transformation is largely capital intensive. But for now, we are engaging Ministry of Finance to reinstate some of the funds that have been cut for critical interventions under the digital transformation program, such as automation of government systems, last mile connectivity, reinstating the cuts of the innovation fund, because it is through that innovation fund that we support the digitization agenda by building services for them. Ladies and gentlemen, the requested me to also show how what our contribution is or what our role is in. Now, the Ministry of ICT and National to we have the digital transformation program to drive the digital transformation agenda, but on and the national guidance side, the ministry is under the community mobilization and mindset change program. At the same time of that program, and that is where the ministry's performance will be reported with education and national. Let me submit on the performance of the ministry and on the performance of the ministry under the manifesto commitments and strategic guidelines and directives of 2021-2026. And I therefore now pass over Honorable Minister to closing the submission.
That has been my able PS. Now, the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance is one of the only ministries gender sensitive. You can see when we came here, we came with two powerful doctors away, and all of them have their records on their fingertips. But they were accompanied by very powerful, so that you don't scare them away. But what I can say is, apart from the digital transformation, just as you have seen, we are also the Ministry of Information. We disseminator who broadcasts in 27 languages. 27. The rest can only broadcast in Swahili, Uganda, and probably English. But for us, even Lukonzo in Kasese we broadcast. Even Acholi, Mega FM in Igbo, we have 11 radio stations and TV stations. You know, when people talk about UBC, they just look at that UBC, which you always see. But you should know there are so many other TV stations under UBC, like Magic and others. All those 4 TV stations belong to the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance, and we have 11 radio stations broadcasting in 27 languages. And so that's where we beat the rest. We also own people can't beat us in broadcasting. You can make noise, but for us, when we decide to broadcast, we shall broadcast to the whole country and in 27 what? Languages. While for you are broadcasting in English, Luganda, Swahili, for us we are in Acholi, we are in Langi, we are in Luamba, we are in Runyankore. So you can't beat us at our game. And you should also know that we now want to revive the other newspapers which had gone silent, Rupin, Orumuri, and Eto, so that we can also start disseminating information through the print media. Since you think you are competing with us in electronic media. And you should also know UICT, our institution, Uganda Information Communication Technology Institute, it is training. For it is not, it is training. It is skills. You don't go to class just like a secondary school business studies. You are just acquiring skills in business, so you can live UICT and go and set up your own business. And Uganda, for us, when we were still, the only address we had in Kampala here was the general post office. If you were lost, you someone take me to the general post office. Zero. So even when you're going to Mbari, Chisoro, you're going to Mbara, you start from general post office. That is zero. So it was a, and now we are those addresses. That's why into dig, and we no longer have boxes. We now have digital boxes. You don't need to have a key and then you go and open the box. We can give you a digital what? A digital address. Everything is getting digital. And we are also spokespersons of government, and we disseminate our information to our national broadcaster, and obviously other broadcasters. You are part of us. We disseminate information to Uganda Media Center. So that's where normally when we are giving official statements, we go and you pick those media statements. So every time, you know, someone who said, he tells you the radio said, but it doesn't tell you the one who does what? Who said. It just tells you the radio said, the TV said. So for us, that's why we have a central information dissemination center, so that you know where to pick what? To pick correct information. And obviously UCC is now in charge of regulation. We all, so have to be careful when you're with us. We also rate you. Because of fair play and because of broad freedom of expression, even if you abuse us, we go to UBC and broadcast in 27 languages and finish off whatever lies you have talked about. And we have NITA-U. Obviously, NITA-U is in charge of the internet and other things. Those are the letters. But UCC is also giving out computers to schools that people can be skilled and doing very, very good work. We also have the media journalists. You know, you are at our mercy. If we say, even if you're a journalist, we get a fault from you. One time, a policeman met me, and I said to him, I'm a very law-abiding citizen. He said, yes, but if I want a fault in you, I can arrest you. He said, for instance, now you have not tucked in your shirt. I can say you are idle and because you are just going, the shirt is just moving up and down. So we have a media council to regulate you journalists, but we brought freedom of speech. We tolerate everything you say, but we also need you because you are part of the digital transformation. You are very big disseminators of information, and we would like to thank you very much for assisting government to do that work. But we have gone digital now. There is now digital media. Do you know that newspapers are dying? Because we have now digital media. If you are not careful, even TVs will die. Because as I talk now, people are sending information on WhatsApp and everything. By the time Mr. Gaba broadcasts, people already know what is taking place. In the past, when we were young, if you wanted to overthrow government, you would just come to Radio Uganda and surround it and you say, I am now the what? The president. And that was all. That was all. Even the army would start what? Running. But now, no way. You go to Radio Uganda, you're wasting your time. Because there are so many people who will be corresponding and saying that is fake what? fake news. So I thank you very much. Director, I think we have done a lot. I think at the end of the day, please give us a distinction who have performed. I thank you very much, and I wish you all the best. Let's now listen to your questions.
Once again, let's put our hands together and give a big applause to the minister and his team. Yeah, Honorable Minister, you know this issue of scoring has remained thorny. And for us, I will tell whoever is listening that our biggest interest in scoring is how on. Now, sometimes when we are scoring that way, people tend to think it is attributed to the individual performances of the entities. There is that conflict of I don't know whether I should call it of confusion or what, but for us, the scores that we look at, or the kind of assessment we tend to focus on, is how have you moved on these commitments as were given in the manifesto. Sometimes this performance is interpreted to mean me, I'm doing better than the other entity, which is not what we assess. Because when you look at the manifesto, some of the commitments are shared. If you look at how government may not of entity. So clear on this, because many people have been trying to reach me, say, you tell us which minister in this respect and why not handling this kind of how play a completion or for maybe beyond your cause. So these are the comments from the unit. Of all, allow me, Honorable, and your team to congratulate you on many of these achievements that you have shared with the country. We want to identify ourselves with most of them. And as you are aware, this is a very, very critical sector, and the manifesto was very that this sector should be really made a champion of trying to see how we can better and faster our journey on socio-economic transformation. So as a unit, we appreciate and salute the efforts so far achieved. We want, especially in the areas of internet coverage, which I think is, we have tried to move, but I want to say we still have a challenge here, because many of our local governments, I think at sub-county level, we still have a challenge of connectivity, maybe in this last mile journey, and we focus on, we target, and in the local governments, what would be the last mile, which administrative unit, so that you are sure that you can assess yourselves and say, out of the so many sub-counties in the country, we have wired these ones, and these ones are remaining. And maybe on the schools, you can also target, and all the other infrastructures. Maybe at Health Center 3 still, which is at a sub-county level, you can also say, within these so many sub-counties, all Health Center 3s within this are wired. All these sub-county headquarters are wired. And this is the balance, and then you can move in such a structured way. There is a need for internet in our tourism areas. I think this is something that has been on for a while. Some have been made in this direction, but I think it is important that now that tourism has become one of the key economy drivers, and I think it is one of the targeted areas within this tenfold strategy. We need to see how we support it, to enable it be able to deliver to its intended objectives by exploiting all the potential means and support that can make it work and be able to make the sector can bring in as much revenue as anticipated. Of course, there is a need to foster a good working relationship between government and some media houses, especially on dissemination of information. We still witness some media houses who, in the exercise of their constitutional rights, so they will claim, but still lack patriotism, you know, in the way they report. And also some online publications, which are also used to blackmail either individuals or business institutions or the government. I don't know for what. And I don't know whether they know you have powers of trying to match them with order. I'm a Democrat. I don't intend to push you to be a bit more strong. But sometimes you look at certain things and you wonder whether these are part of Ugandans or they have been hired to be Ugandans. So I think my fellow colleagues who are partners in this cause, I know you have done a very commendable job in this and in the times to come as we work on this week. But there are certain articles or certain writings that appear in your communication, and you find and you wonder whether you have lost all the Ugandan in you and what it takes to be a Ugandan. So, on your team, I don't know whether that will be through formal engagement. I have listened to you have come with the director of regulation and whatever from ICC. But sometimes you see that, yes, you could be having a disagreement with either the party or the president, but you still be Ugandan and vote positively. You don't have to be necessarily negative. We call it so if things are worse, then let us also contribute to that. But we need to minimally have a point of convergence which can unite us as Ugandans and exercise that patriotic spirit, even when you may not necessarily agree with the current government or president or minister. So the last one, Honorable Minister, which we want to observe on is the capability of our cyber security, which I think the PS touched on, but I don't know, because this has a strong impact, both positive and negative, in terms of the growth of the economy and the confidence in terms of investment, and even it can undermine, all these efforts we have made. We have told the people we have moved on. It can undermine them to nothing. We are here priding ourselves in how many customers now we have in terms of connectivity, on mobile money, on telephone density, and all these things. But if this is not checked, all these can be lost in a while. And of course, associated with this is still this business of some of these loose cards, the unregistered or cards whose name. I think you see to move on this area. Maybe we would want to hear how far UCC has gone on this to reassure Ugandans in this fight against. Even I think today or yesterday, there is a leading story on so much money being hacked through BOU. That's a lot of money. It can make a road from here to Masaka, 160 billion suspected. So that's quite a lot of money. So we need to see how we strengthen the capacity as a country to deal with this challenge. So those are observations. Allow me now to invite members of the media and other members who are in the audience who have any issues that you want to raise. And please don't fear. I know this is your regulator, but he can also be improved through your proposals. It can also be improved through your proposals. So if you have any issues that you really feel you can share with the Mother Ministry, this is the moment. This is the moment. I can see you are withdrawing in time. Is it okay? Yes,
Thank you. This Safari, an online media platform. Permanent secretary. I hope maybe the work with the PS. My first question is, with the increase in cyber threats, like the issue where money was on the bank, how local in creating a robust according to the presentation, I've realized that our local IT experts are doing well in the field of web development and application development, because as you say, most of the websites were designed by our local IT experts. I would also love to know that how are our local IT experts performing in the following fields. In the field of data science and analytics, in the field of cloud computing, in the field of AI, blockchain, virtual reality, and finally, health informatics. Thank you.
I think that sounds like one of the local experts who feels he's left out. So you could headhunt. So next, yes.
Thank you very much. Isaac, UBC Strategy. I have 2 questions, but before I want to appreciate the ministry for the good work done, and we hope for better. Question 1, in Uganda we have various classes. We have at school, we have that have gone there, and there are those who have not gone there, really.
At all.
So as ICT, what are we going to do, or what are you to bring people era of the then due to the IT knowledge, advancement, and the digitization, how is the ICT ministry prepared to combat with the impacts of this rapid transition in terms of health, in terms of well-being, and in terms of the environment? Thank you very much.
Okay, yes.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister and Director Manifesto. My name is Julia Bukenyo, who is Daily Star News, Uganda. Honorable Minister, for the last 3 financial years, you've been telling us that you are going to scale up the coverage of internet in Uganda
but we're not seeing that scaling up. We have internet around Mapera and used to enjoy it during evening hours, it's no longer there. Even our
serious. Okay.
I'm called from MoICT NG. Mine goes also from the minister. We are seeing the increasing number of bloggers in this country. Almost everyone now is a journalist, even those who have never gone to school. We've seen several of them attacking government officials and people from the private sector. The other day, one whom we saw is in jail over attacking General Kainerugaba government. And many others. I don't know what plans you have for such people, because very soon it will be on you or me. So we need the plan we have for such people. Thank you.
I thought the plan is already effected. Even you have said where the man is, so the law is clear. But Honorable Minister will expound on that. Okay.
Well, thank you so much for the opportunity. My name is Ndawako. I work with CTN, is an online media. First, I have to congratulate the ministry so far for the work. And then my question is a bit similar to what you talked of the hackers. It is a alarming issue going on in the country, and the dismay is that it is affecting most of those people in the rural areas. We have SIM cards. Most of them are distant. And we expect that when I, local gets a phone and start talking to any person, automatically I can be identified. But these are people who are using SIM cards to manage whether it is a promotion or whatever. And area when it's years that you have won, even 20 so that person managed to do so this thing, either taking or whatever, the first send that money. And when they go to police, what was the police station doing that you man or you woman, you are just a student.
Move forward.
Thank you very much. My name is Owen Kaswaburi from Baba TV. First, I would wish to bring to your clarification the director about the issue on media houses. In the first case, a number of media houses are facing a problem whereby government officials don't come out clarify on what's going on in their respective ministries and departments. So you find that the doctors could be available, but it may be so hard that you get these people responsible for certain issues to come and make clarification. Good enough, the state minister for ICT is, I think, among the few 5 ministers who are ready and available for talk shows, unlike others. So I think before you media houses, Honourable Minister, I will request that you take this to your cabinet meeting. They should be ready and available to be clarifying on what falls in their ministries. Thank you.
Thank you. I think Honorable Minister add on that on to see how we can improve on our communication strategy as government, because I think there is a lot we have done, but we have communicated less. So I hope we need a strong strategy on how we can communicate all this information that is within us. Yes, there's somebody there.
I'm Matthew Musakanisuna, working with the Green TV, working with Rural TV. First of all, I want to thank the PDS, Honorable Canada Sawiki, for that elaboration she has made. We need a question that I have. e-services, e-education. There is so many schools across the country where even some teachers, if not so many teachers, are not able to get also to get laptops or computer. So how are you going to ensure that those children in village they are at the same pace with those children who are studying in urban areas? And my last question is Minister of ICT hand in hand but we've seen so many journalists treated in a brutality manner, especially those security organs. We want you as minister to come out with those journalists because we're about to enter into how to ensure those brutality on are stopped. Thank you.
Are you there? Okay, let's listen to. I'm happy. You are very confident to engage your ministry.
Thank you. My name is Coco from BBC Radio. First of all, I have a question on the minister talked about digital acceleration. In many parts of the country, there are very many people who drop out of schools in pre-primary or earlier days and they don't know how to read and write, most of them. Most of these computers, most of these innovation hubs, computer innovation hubs, they teach in English. What is the ministry putting in place in order to bring all these people on board to bridge the gap of the digital space? I'm talking about, we are going into election period. Someone earlier talked about bloggers. Most of the bloggers do not have the information. In recent times, we have been seeing people being produced in courts of abusing the president, and the excuse they give is that, I didn't know. I didn't know these things, I was just looking for likes. But if we need these people to continue in these spaces, imagine we are going through an election period and someone will come out and say, President A and A has won the election, and the other follows. So I think there is more need for regulation, particularly in the digital media age. Talking about TikTok, Twitter, there is a lot that needs to be bridged. So I don't know what you're putting in place to bridge this gap. I'm talking about AI. In the presentation, I really didn't see most of the interventions to promote AI and also regulate it. What is the ministry doing in that sector? Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, thanks, Honorable Minister, yes, and Mr. Bashasha, our leader. Well, I'm running my elder brother, running my primary. Journalists, as the one team in the country, the industry, we are paid poorly. My question is like this. A number of media houses in Uganda, almost 80%, they don't pay their journalists. And since this is our ministry, earlier this year, the top minister of this ministry raised the issue of shutting or switching off the media houses that don't pay their journalists. What is the ministry doing over that? Thanks.
Okay. So, you want charity what? You, a lady there, were you raising your hand or? Are you the last one? Oh. But you were not ready.
with this AI issue, we as journalists in our career of disseminating information, someone will come out and put out something and they will say this is work of AI. So as government, we really need this as badly as now, because we need to regulate and then know what do we use our AI for and what not. Thank you so much.
I think that's a straight one. Okay, lastly.
My question is just an addition to Romeo's. Why is the ministry just keeping quiet on our end? Thank you.
Come again?
My question is an addition to Romeo's question. Why is the ministry just keeping quiet on our end?
But the question has just come now and the minister hasn't responded. Anyway, where? Okay.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. My name, I'm Jeremy Ali. I work with Voice of Hearing.
Voice of where?
Honorable Minister.
Voice of where?
Voice of Hearing.
Kere? Bugerere?
Honorable Minister, I have one concern. Managed to install system camera up Kampala. But last year, they stole my bike. And definitely, I reported to the police, but the police always tell us that for CCTV camera is free of charge to each and every Ugandan. But if it comes to riots and investors, the cameras are so very active, and deliberately they can come up to catch up with those people. But if it comes local people, Honorable Minister, it's very hard to be or to get your property when it's lost. So at least help us to curb that challenge. Thank you.
So the cameras are selective. They are sectarian. Okay, last three. We need to wind up, please.
My question the question I wanted to ask, it has been brought up unclearly. Honorable Minister, only this year, so many radio stations are closed because they don't have salaries to pay their workers. And my colleagues can be witnesses. Even some of the colleagues are just working there, given a microphone. They go and find people. But when we try to complain to our bosses, they say that when it comes to regulations, you pin them a lot of amount to regulate them. You talked of medical staff having 11 radios, but they can't all employers. How shall we be paid and radio stations with a little prices at least so that we can have something we can get from these radio stations, because they employ us and they are doing a good job to help the government to employ their youth. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Honorable Minister, allow me now to invite you and you make your responses. I think we still need it because the program is broadcast live, it's streamed live, so they need to pick you better.
Thank you very much, participants. I'm really happy that you have brought out all these very good questions. I have all the answers, But for purposes of collective responsibility, I didn't bring my technical officers just as spectators. I would therefore invite one by one to give responses, and then after that, the PS will also give some response, and I will wind up. But I have all the answers on my fingertips. Like, let me now invite Madame Juliana, because most of the questions were related to UCC and regulation. Then after that, we shall have UBC. I think UBC here represents the media broadcasters. Why are you not paying? Why are your colleagues not paying? Probably you can give a rough idea. And then the principle of UICT, they are saying we are now having the illiterate and the literate, and all of them must be digital compliers. What are you planning? And then after that, the PS will come, and then I will wind up. That's how we do our thing in the ministry. Collective responsibility and shared responsibility. And you will come here so that you can be seen properly. Is it okay? You come here. No, Julian is a Mumbai, so you have to beg her slowly.
Good evening, everybody. Let me tackle the questions not in particular order, but I'll start with the first one related to the issue that was raised on, I think what the gentleman was calling hacking, but it sounded more like scamming. And I think those are pretty different cases, but also related to, I think, bringing out the element of registration. As we speak right now, all SIM cards in the country are fully registered with KYC details that match the registration using the national ID for locals and for foreigners' passports, and also we have registration for refugees. However, a lot of you know that sometimes when sending mobile money to people, they tell you it's my SIM card, but it's in the name of John. Why? Because we still have citizens who are carrying SIM cards in the names of other people, but who have rightly registered that SIM card. And I think the regulations that were signed last year by the Ministry of Security were intended to address this anomaly in the market where people are still using SIM cards belonging to other people. We are getting a lot of reports as a regulator of people selling their national IDs for minimum amounts like 20,000, 10,000 for people to use those IDs to register SIM cards for use. And a lot of these SIM cards are used in fraudulent cases. And really the message to the market is that the regulation states that if a SIM card has been used in fraud, the person who has registered that SIM card in their name is the one that will be responsible for that fraud. And the regulation came into full effect on November 12th of 2023. We actually saw 1.6 million SIM cards switched off as a result of no registration, but we still do have cases of people moving around with SIM cards in names of other people. And we need to quickly address this anomaly, but we need the country to be behind it. The cases of hacking that the gentleman has reported, those cases should be reported to police. And once those cases are reported to police, they will go through ensuring that we're able to capture the individuals
behind those SIM cards. So we encourage you in this case when you've been hacked or in this case scammed to please do report to the nearest police station in your vicinity, because as I've assured you, every single SIM card in this market now has been registered to an individual. Unfortunately, if it comes to police, they will arrest the person whose name is on that SIM card, who does not necessarily have to be the person who committed the scam. So this is really, just to sound a warning through you, Honorable Minister, that I think we are getting to this point where we have to start enforcing these very stringent regulations, because we need to this level of fraud. However, since November, we have seen a huge decline in the fraud, because I think since the registration, people are now a bit more careful, although we still see those cases using people's IDs to register SIM cards. Honorable Minister, there's another, you've asked me to respond, I think, to specific questions. Maybe the first one, which was asked the director here on the issue of tourism areas. The government has now moved from population coverage to geographic coverage. Previously, the obligation of the operator was not necessarily to cover areas that did not have population or huge population coverage. But now, with the new licensing framework, it is a requirement to cover areas even where there are no people, including national parks, even water bodies, and moving progressively to that. And you can see the presentation from PS today is that we have moved even from 55% geographic coverage, and now we're at 72% geographic coverage for 4G technology, and we're moving towards 90%. And that will also address the issue of areas where there's very low population, but where we need services like the tourism locations. There was a question, I think I've addressed the one of hackers, the issue of bloggers, and these are really people like the online influencers. The Communication Act of 2023 defined a broadcaster as someone who is licensed. And that's why for the longest time, you see there's a lot of compliance around people who are running licensed stations. But in the new act that is under review, a broadcaster will be anybody who has influence even online, and this will also spread to the people who are not necessarily licensed, and that will address a lot of your questions around these bloggers or influencers, people who have huge following. Because what we have noticed is that people go away from addressing some of these concerns that do not meet the minimum broadcasting standards from the normal traditional platforms that we license, and they're taking these on to platforms like TikTok or platforms where they are, as individuals. And it's important that these minimum are also extended to people who have followings that even exceed numbers like 10,000, 20,000, because we need to keep everybody within the same standards. We don't want cases where children are exposed to information that they would not ordinarily get exposed to from traditional media, where a lot of the media houses have tried to a great extent to control, but now the children are finding this information on platforms that are being run by individuals. So these minimum broadcasting standards have got to be extended to even individual users and individual platforms where children and even people who don't want to access this information are actually accessing it. So just to respond to that question, under review dated, although we still do have the Computer Misuse Act that has specific provisions for you to be able to complain when you see such information. And we have taken strong action against people who are using, because abuse is not even acceptable within the minimum broadcasting standards. I want to speak about the pay last, because I think that's something that I'd also like the minister to speak on, because the ministry has taken a very strong stand on this issue of lack of payment. But from a commission's perspective, one of the requirements that we expect the media houses to report on a monthly basis through their monthly reporting frameworks with the Commission is how many people are on their payroll, how many people have been registered with Media Council, and how are they paying them. And we've been we've been holding them at great standards to ensure that some of these are upheld. Although now, with the concerns that have been raised here and the action that you've actually reported that the minister is taking, I think I would let the minister speak to this at the end of this presentation, but it's something of great concern to the ministry as well as at the UCC. Would you like me to stop there for now? On the issue of AI, I think that's something that we
also, I think there was the AI you can leave to PS.
Yes.
But I think you can still avoid bloggers.
Yes, I think on the bloggers, that's a specific one where we said that we really need to bring these bloggers to the level of broadcasters so that they can ensure that they uphold the minimum broadcasting standards. And Mr. Minister, that really an urgent review of the Act, but that's already under review. Thank you.
Okay. Why are you not playing?
Honourable Minister, I think on behalf of the media fraternity, because
Thank you, Honourable Minister, and the Manifesto team with this wonderful opportunity. I think the issue of pay to the media personnel cuts across. As government, I think we call upon the ministry, the government, to seriously think about the fourth estate. It has been ignored. We are only looking at the three arms of government and have forgotten that the fourth estate is critical to each and everything when we talk about development, when we talk about disseminating the right information. So it surpasses the issue of patriotism. As UBC, we have presented it to the ministry. The pay at UBC is also not commensurate with the work done. The private sector is struggling. And why is the private sector struggling? Because the economy is just picking up. The times have changed. Where were the advertising revenues coming from? If we ask ourselves, who are the big advertisers in the market? Are they advertising? They have gone on online platforms. They have cut down on the advertising budgets. So I think as a government, as a ministry, as people in the sector, we need to rethink. It cannot be business as usual. So I think the call that has been made, Honourable Minister, PS, UCC, I think the call is for all of us to get together and say, are the license fees realistic in light of how the economy is performing? We have presented our views. We believe that a liberalized sector of radio, of TV, the ripple effect of having many more stations will create many more opportunities for employment as opposed to the regulatory fees that are stifling the private sector. You might not know that we are also having a back and forth with UCC. We're having a meeting shortly, in a few days, because UCC insists that also UBC must pay license fees. And we're saying UBC falls within that bracket of the common good. So if we are also forced to pay license and you find our 11 FM radio stations closing, what do we do? So we need to rethink as a country, and I believe Chairman, Manifesto, the Minister, this is an issue to be taken seriously, to be given the due attention it deserves. The young men and women in the media houses are really struggling. At UBC, we have been struggling to even keep away some people who come and say, I just want to volunteer. Just allow me sit here. And it is happening across board. So it's not a one-off issue about the private stations. It is within the industry. We need to grow the economy, and we believe the baby steps that the economy is taking, the ripple effect is there, but we need to give it that boost. Thank you, Chairman.
How are you bridging the gap between the literate and the illiterate?
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, and my dear friend, and all the questions. I just wanted, sorry, I'm a teacher, Honorable Minister. I might talk a little bit, a lot, but the person who asked the question, it was a very good one about the different classes. So what is the ministry doing and its agencies to ensure that what you have called classes benefit from the digital economy by getting skills to be able to embrace the technologies that are coming up? So what we are doing as a ministry and the agencies is to segment the digital skilling. Number one, by starting with having training needs assessments at different levels. Now, the segments you talked about currently are the segments of the uneducated, intermediary, and then also the educated. But there are also other segments, the underserved, and the persons possibly living with disabilities, as well as the elderly. Those, I want to broaden that segment, but say that we have started with the undertaking skills needs assessment for those different segments of people and diverse groups. And then we have developed and are continuing to develop targeted programs for those different segments. That's number one. The inaccessibility to digital skills and digital services the PS talked about is also manifested with another part of it, that if you are to give people skills, then they should have the connectivity, the place where they will get the skills from, but also the infrastructure, because you are teaching them how to use ICTs. So PS ably talked about that, the policy and infrastructure environment that is upcoming, to ensure that that is handled. So we are looking at a holistic approach to it, not only looking at the skilling, but also we want to use the communities and the educators, leave alone the ICT educators, but we are training, like the PS mentioned, and the Honorable Minister, that we trained teachers. Now we have gone into the communities and we have digital change agents currently in about, we have about 400 of them spread across the country. We are going to expand those so that these are community leaders and also ambassadors to be able to provide skilling at the different levels. But we're also involving the community leaders. And another area is that now we are looking at all the projects that come up in different areas, which are not necessarily ICT, to ask and work with other institutions or sectors or programs to embed the skilling component of it, to ensure that we integrate skilling into the other areas through our public-private partnerships. Not only development partners, but also the industry, the communities, and also other government programs. Another area we are working on is, and which we have started on seriously, is using technologies For instance, one of our colleagues talked about people who don't know English. We use technologies like augmented and virtual reality or mixed reality to create artifacts that help people to understand digital technology, even if it is not in English, by showing simulations of practical situations of how this can help. So these are areas that we are working on also. A third one is, the last one is to ensure that we have measurable outcomes. And we are embarking so much on this to ensure that we measure the impact, starting from the outputs, the outcomes, and the impact, so that we are able to improve these programs. Honorable Minister, I want to stop there so that I don't give a lecture within this session. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think PS now you can handle the rest and then I'll welcome.
Thank you very much. I think I will start by also commenting on the digital skilling, how we are bridging the divide in addition to what the principal has said. We have also, we acquired through some of our partners, development partners, we acquired a digital truck, or what we call a DigiTruck. It's a mobile computer lab. Now this DigiTruck is moving around the country and in various districts. It goes and parks in the district for 1 month. Not parking in one place, but moves from one, from one station to another, or from one parish to another, skilling market vendors, skilling farmers, skilling the young people and the women. This computer can accommodate up to 20 people at a go for a training. So we have used this to do basic ICT skilling for these people, so that by the time they go to operate a simple application on their phone, they know where to start from. However, this is not enough. So as a ministry and sector, we are acquiring more DigiTrucks. We want to have at least a DigiTruck per region, because one cannot move across the country. So far we have trained up to 10,000 plus people with only one. And we are dealing with 46 million people, or largely 30 million people that have to be skilled. So that is one of the things. Of course, working together with the MoICT, the Innovation Hub, we are getting content that is supporting us to skill these people. In the long run, when we have these, at least, I think by next year we shall have 2, and then we shall increase and have another 2 or 3 by the time we go into 2026. Then there was a question on how is the ministry involving local ICT experts in developing a robust ICT system. Now, when the Ministry of ICT that is leading the digital transformation program is operating, coming up with the frameworks, regulations, guidelines, we do not work alone. We work together with the different ministries, departments, and agencies. We work together with academia, with the private sector, civil society, and we also invite the public. We have a digital transformation working group where we call in technical people. But I think going forward with the expertise that you could have, we are going to be able to register whenever we have these sessions and engagements. We are going to be inviting the public for these sessions. So when we're coming up with our roadmap that specified the areas of focus that we must look at for the next 5 years, including cybersecurity, data protection, and privacy, all the input we got was from the public. The experts contributed. We have a working group for each of, We have a working group for each of the pillars. We have a working group for infrastructure, for cybersecurity, data protection and privacy, skilling, which is also led by Ministry of Education. We have one for innovation and entrepreneurship. So please, you can be able to join us. But also, as a Ministry of ICT, we are the mother ministry for all IT officers and communication officers across government. We have reviewed our, we call them schemes of service. We have reviewed our skill sets for the IT people who are required to work in government. You know, we have been having those officers who are, you know, database administrators, network administrators, which have since long been outdated, and we have now identified the critical skills, like, you know, cybersecurity skills, data analytics skills, and we are going to soon be recruiting to fill those positions. So when these opportunities come up, please look up to them, but also engage with us whenever we are having these discussions. The other question was on how are we preparing to combat, was it combat e-tax, e-health, or was, I think it was looking at health and environment as we digitize. To handle issues of health and environment, we are working closely with, we are working with e-waste management, and have an e-waste policy in place that we are implementing currently. With that, we are working with the various bodies, NEMA, UCC, the regulator. We also have the ICT and the different agencies in line with that are supporting us to ensure that as we do our e-waste management and managing all these waste products or ICT, we do it in a way that it is environmentally friendly and in a way that will help us to even create employment opportunities for our people, because we are looking at setting up refurbishment centers. Today, I don't know, some of you might be having some old phones that you don't even utilize, or you don't know what effect or impact they are having on your health. But with this e-collection, e-waste collection, we are looking at recycling the waste that is not reusable, but then refurbishing what is reusable. By refurbishing, we mean that, for example, if a corporate entity or a bank or a private firm is getting rid of their computers, every 3 years it is recommended for you to change your equipment. And there are some institutions that are doing this diligently. But these computers are still working, or they are still in good working condition. However, they have data on them that the institutions have to protect. So when we set up these refurbishment centers, they will be able to renew these computers and make them reusable for the next maybe 3 years. These computers then can be affordable, because when a product is refurbished, it is way cheaper than buying a new laptop or buying a new phone, and we shall be able to also benefit from getting devices to our people. The question on AI, what are we doing in terms of managing and handling artificial intelligence and regulating artificial intelligence? Artificial intelligence is one of those things that are on the top radar for government to handle. Recently, when we had our retreat in Chankwanzi of cabinet and permanent secretaries, one of the resolutions that came out of that retreat was that we have to develop an AI policy for government and also, how it relates to all sectors. We are currently in the process of doing that. We have given ourselves a timeline of a year. By the end of this financial year, we expect to have to be reporting on how far we have gone into developing that policy. So that within the policy, we shall be able to determine how to regulate whatever is regulatable without suffocating innovation. You know, we have to be mindful of the fact that innovation, it's research and innovation that also gave birth to AI. So without suffocating innovation, we have to be, we shall be considerate when crafting and coming up with that AI policy. I think the rest of the questions have been tackled. There was an issue on, I think I'll speak to some of the initiatives we are doing in order to handle misinformation, disinformation that has been talked about. We launched a campaign of misinformation and disinformation, working together with the media. We want to be able to educate. You know, creating awareness is one thing, and educating the population, but also clarifying on issues. Some of the fraud that we see sometimes is because of ignorance. People are not aware. If somebody calls me and tells me that, you know, I have sent you a message on your phone, use this PIN to go into your mobile money, it is simply because people do not know or are not aware of how fraud comes about. So consistent campaigns, we are putting up consistent campaigns and educating and training, especially the young people and our marginalized communities, where we have farmers, where we have market vendors who might not know or who do not know about this IT field, but they have to operate within that space. I always example that my background of academia, you know, once a teacher, always a teacher. When we were being taught to cross the road when we were young, they would tell us, you know, look left, right, and then left and then cross. Because the road is dangerous, it has cars, but you have to move. Cars also have to move. Similarly today with the internet, we all have to use the internet because it's an order of a day, but we just have to put in place rules and regulations on how to go about it, but also educate the people on how to utilize the space. And that is one of the things we are doing. I'm very sure that with the DigiTrucks, taking advantage of the free airtime on radios, we are going to be able to educate the population. I think the Honorable Minister will be able to close on our submissions. I thank you.
Let me probably start where she stopped. AI. I think everybody is scared about AI, and everybody is talking about AI. Even if you ask people, you know, AI is an abbreviation. And if you say, okay, you expand, some people don't even know that AI is artificial intelligence. But everybody is AI. Let me be very clear to you. AI is unstoppable. It's just like an axe, which you can use to chop firewood and cook. You can also use it to chop meat and eat. But that axe can also be used to murder someone. You can use it to cut someone's what? Neck. So we have to be prepared for it. And it has been here for a very long time. But because now the digital transformation agenda is moving too fast, that's when people have started saying, hey, even AI is what? Is there? But it has been on the globe for a very long time. But as we digitize, we must also put there stop measures. And I think that's what now we are working on. Already our agency, UCC, put up a task force, a small one, to study the situation. But we are going to put up a bigger task force as a ministry, which will involve all stakeholders, including our developers, just as you said, the local experts, so that we develop a strategy, we develop a policy, and then we now start developing laws. But we should study really where is AI taking us, what are the advantages, what are the threats, and then we come up with a very good laws to regulate it. But it is unstoppable. And it is doing a lot of work. And therefore, we are not going to stop it. And my people have definitely answered most of the things, but I can elaborate on a few. Because someone was talking about how prepared are we for instance, digital health transition, education health transition. We are well prepared, as they have told you. For us as government, we are in infrastructure development. We are also in regulation, but we have also gone into skilling. But you know, this country, President Museveni, the visionary president, decided to liberalize the economy. This economy is private sector led. You should know that. And the private sector is doing a lot in complementing government efforts. Even the infrastructure we are talking about, I think the private sector has a bigger network than even us. But for us now, that's what Juliana was saying, we are covering where they can't go. Because for them, it is a population. For us, it is service delivery. For instance, one time we proposed, and we are going to do it, it is unstoppable, that we are taking internet to national parks and network. And someone will say, will the elephants enjoy network when we don't? But I mean, there are people, tourists who come here for holiday, but they are also working. Because people now don't need to be in China to work, not at all. That's what the PS is talking about, business processes outsourcing. You can work from here doing work which is in China. Because for them, when they are sleeping, for us we are awake. And when we are sleeping, they are awake. And their businesses don't sleep like here. Here businesses do what? Sleep. Their businesses don't sleep. You know, I went to Kasese and there were security lights everywhere, and people were sleeping. I told them the reason why we put security lights is for the town to work 24 hours. But for you are sleeping, the lights are what? Are on. So why don't we switch it off and then you go and sleep? So in the Western world, people don't sleep. Businesses don't what? Sleep. So when they are sleeping, we should be working here. And that's why we are putting in place all the infrastructure necessary to spur our economy. So even digital health, digital education, for us we shall put in place the infrastructure. And that's why we are trying to put enough infrastructure, because we want people to be hooked on the internet as many as possible so that the prices can go down, the rates can go down. And then the private sector will develop systems, systems in health, systems in education, and the whole economy will do what? Will prosper. And we shall continue doing that. And one was saying, but for the last 2 years, you have been talking about infrastructure development, the last mile connectivity, but we don't see it coming. We have been talking about hotspots, but Mapera, there's no internet, Makere University, and the like. Now, we got a bit of a hiccup. First of all, COVID hit us badly. If we didn't have a visionary president, we would be in problems now. People fought hard, they wanted subsidies on fuel and what, he refused. But countries which went that type of route are now in trouble. But we got a bit of a hiccup. Then when we recovered from COVID, rationalization came in. And you know, our agency, which is in charge of infrastructure development as far as the internet is concerned, is NITAU. And it was listed for rationalization. But we convinced the president, and he saw our point. We gave it a transition of 3 years. So, but even the funders were a bit slow. Let us first see whether the ministry is taking over or NITAU will continue. But NITAU is going to continue with the projects. Now they have taken off at supersonic speed because now we are signing final agreements, we are signing procurement agreements, we are procuring so many services at a go. So all this in the next 1 year, you will see the infrastructure being worked on and you will get internet. But we would like to assure you that we are also going to revive our hotspots. We had a few problems. At first, we wanted a private company to run them. And then we got problems with them. Now we want to take them over as government. So that we are going to also create more. But the free internet will be most likely very much available in the evenings when it is low. Because the peak hours, we have to leave the private sector too. We don't have a very strong infrastructure, but the law, when people are not using the internet much, then we shall offer free internet. On Baba TV, you brought a very, very nice observation. Government communication officers don't want to go to TVs. Yes, there is a problem which we want to sort out very soon, and it is a standing order problem. Every ministry has a government communicator. Every ministry has either a public relations officer for corporate organizations, but they also have, the ministries have government communicators. But there is one problem. You meet in some ministries, a government communicator is a senior officer. That is a big problem. Then there are some regulations that a person at this level, before they communicate, they should seek for permission from PS, from what? That is also a big, some big roadblock that we are. So now we are trying to regularize the communication cadres. We have developed a scheme of communication cadres so that communication cadres in the ministries can be at a certain level, management level, to the effect that if something has been discussed in the ministry, they will just go and communicate without seeking for what? For permission. Because it has been. For us, we are ministers. When we come from cabinet, so long as cabinet has resolved, the next thing is media center. I don't need to seek for permission again from the president to go and what? Communicate. Because I was there. So I just go straight to communicate. So we are trying to sort out that gap. I think, Odongso, you want to you know, Odongso now is also a government communicator. The other time he used to give me hard questions on behind the red lights. I've told him to go there so that they give him the hard questions. He's still scared.
Thank you, Honorable, and through the Director Manifesto implementation. I need to apologize for holding you back because I had wanted to more listen in and take in. But Honorable Minister, I just wish to help my colleague from Baba TV. I think with his permission, what he was driving at. What you have just said is correct, Honorable Minister, and there is need for that form of the standing orders. But the more pressing issue for TVs and radio stations across the board, across the country, is, for lack of a better word, let me call it fear or intimidation for the ministers heading sectors to go and explain government programs and policies heavily on these radio stations and TVs to the satisfaction of the people so that they know that government position is this and that. That is why the gentleman from Baba TV said you are among the very few, about 5 ministers. And Honorable Minister, finally, this challenge actually came up during the 2018, you remember the Toji Kwatako trouble. And a few of us met the president and we put it to him and say, your ministers fear to meet the opposition people who go and many times distort, misquote, misrepresent facts of government, and there is need for ministers to take on and explain the facts on the radios, on the TVs. So I think there are two issues now here we are dealing with as we go especially towards elections. One, do we have ministers like you, like Dr. Baromisi, who are readily available and on call for the talk show hosts? There are 301 radio stations, the PS are saying, and several TVs. All these need the ministers to be available, to be called, to put the correct information across. Then, the reform you are talking about, through our PS and the technical team, can also back up you, the ministers. I think those are the two issues that we must target and make clear. Otherwise, I apologize again for holding you back, Honorable Minister.
No, you are my technical officer. Now, I was coming to that. I started with those the lacuna which is there with the technical officers. Because sometimes some of these things are of technical nature. And they need to be explained by what? A technical officer. But now it comes to we, the ministers. First of all, I would like to appeal to the media houses that whenever you need a minister to come and clarify on anything, if you write to that minister, give us a copy. Because we are the people who coordinate information dissemination. And therefore, if you get a problem in accessing that minister, me, I will not get a problem in accessing the same. Because, Doctor, you know that when you're in UBC, whenever you got problems, you would call me. And then I look for the minister, and I tell you the minister is what? Is coming. So, but also, it's true, there are some ministers who are probably media shy. I can say they are media what? Some of us are bold enough, because even if you tell me there is an opposition president, whether it is Honorable Chagulanye, I will go there. We are not going to TV to fight. We are going there to discuss and exchange what? Ideas. And if you come and abuse you, I will look at you. Because the public which is watching will be what? Judging. You come and abuse me as a minister, whatever abuse you give me, it will not, it is not going to sack me as a what? As a minister. Even if you abuse President Museveni, he will still be the president even tomorrow. So even if you abuse me on your TV, I don't care. The following day, after you have abused me, I will enter in my car and the flag will go what? Yes. And for you, you will also enter in yours and there is no flag, you can't even go one way, and here I go. So why should I get scared of anybody abusing me? But you should also know as journalists that where you have failed is moderating your programs. I go for a TV talk show or a radio talk show. You know that I've gone with a hostile person, say from the opposition, and you don't protect me. Because why should you bring someone who is going to abuse a minister? Why should you bring someone who is going to abuse a president? You bring someone who can engage in an intellectual what? Debate. That's why ministers don't go. You go there and you start embarrassing them. And there are some who feel bad when someone abuses them. But some of us who have grown in the jungles, we don't care. You abuse me, I reply in a very calm way, and it ends there. One time I was on one TV with someone, very big opposition MP, and then he said, look, even you were appointed what? Minister. I said, yes. I don't know what the president was thinking about. I said he was thinking about me. And then later on, he said, you know, President Museveni has overstayed. When he came into power in 1986, I was in P2. Now he's still there. I said, now I can see why you're abusing him. Because me, when Museveni entered, when he took over power, I was in year 1, Makerere University, the only university at that time. The only, and not as a private student. I assured him of that. I said, so if you abuse me, I don't see any problem, because there is that gap between you and me. From that time, he has never abused me again. We go on TV and we discuss intellectually. But my appeal to you, tell us when you need a minister, we shall coordinate. And now we have started the program on UBC. You can also start others on other TVs, the front desk. Every Monday, we have a minister on TV explaining government programs. So your TVs can also start programs. You coordinate with us, because UBC came and we agreed and we said we shall bring you ministers every Monday. So other TVs, you can also start programs and we shall bring you ministers. We shall know that on such and such a day we are going to discuss what? Agriculture. On such and such a day we are going to discuss this. But why do you see some of us on TV, on radio? That's our work. We are government spokespersons and we are paid for it. So that's why we are always there. But other ministers have also other things to do. But for us specifically, our work is, one of our duties is information dissemination. So, but we are going to coordinate with you to see that you get the ministers that you want, so long as you have given us, you have told us in time. Mistreating journalists, we condemn it in the highest, we really condemn that in the highest terms possible. We don't believe in mistreatment of journalists. And as the Minister of ICT and National Guidance, you are our workers. You know, for you are like advocates of Of court. An advocate of court is a work of Of court. So even you journalists, you are our workers. That's why we have the Uganda Journalists Association. In the past, without membership to that organization, you wouldn't practice journalism. I think the MD and the principal know that. But we condemn it in the strongest terms possible, and we have talked with the security organs. Because it's not our ministry which normally does that, but we have talked to the security organs that journalists are supposed to disseminate information, whether it is bad information, whether it is good information, but you should also give the bad side and the good side. But for you sometimes, when you get into trouble, you go for the other one where the police is beating an MP, and you leave the other one where the MP is beating the police. So it is as if it is the policeman who started the fight, and yet it is the other one who started the fight. So be balanced, and that's why the police hates some of you. But also be careful as a journalist. There are so many occupational hazards in your work. You know, Ugandans are funny. Right now, if we hear a bullet coming from this side, all of you will run there. I don't know whether to go and do what. Without even first understanding that bullet is what. For you, you say you're going to get what? News. Don't go there if you don't have a helmet. Because it can hit your head. So sometimes you have to calculate. Those are occupational hazards which happen. Just like a minister goes on a media house and is abused. Those are occupational hazards. So you should also know there are those occupational hazards. So be careful. That's what I've always told journalists. Be careful. If you see that the police is very angry and the army, then be careful. Because you should know among them their characters who may be emotional and hurt you. We shall continue sensitizing them on the role of media, and I think now they have become more friendly to you, and that one will be our work, but we condemn it in the strongest terms possible. What about, someone was talking about someone abusing the president. And now you want us to regulate that. Let me tell you, for us where we grew up, we knew that an elder is respected. Seriously, why should you go on TV and start abusing the president and then you say, I didn't know it was bad? Are you normal? Where did you grow up from? Even in the ghetto, there are laws. If someone is the head of the ghetto, he has to be what? Respected. But a whole young person, you go and abuse the president. That president is even fit to be your grandfather. And you say, I know that abusing the president was what? Was wrong when they arrest you. It's very unfortunate. So be careful. And now, I think Juliana has told you about the Computer Misuse Act. There are so many other laws, even before the computer misuse. They are going to arrest you. Because those ones they have arrested, they are now pleading for mercy. They thought it was a joke to just abuse someone. Those people are not even supposed to abuse you, whether you are an ordinary person or not. They are not supposed to abuse you. Nobody is supposed to be what? Abused. It's wrong. So I would like you to assist us to disseminate this information that people should be careful. And as I wind up, my brother said I think his bag was stolen. You want to say whether cameras are for specific. No, cameras are for the whole Uganda and they are supposed to protect everybody and everything. Those cameras are for us, all of us. And therefore, they don't make any preference that probably they are for the rich and diplomats and ministers. No, for all of you. So when you lose something, you should really contact police and they track what really happened. But you should also know that cameras may not be everywhere. May not also be what? Everywhere. You should also know that cameras, you know, the other time when there was a bomb, I was on radio and someone asked me, where were you? You know, we're showing how the man walked from CPS and then the bomb took off at ICT. So he said, where were you? You are showing us the man. So why didn't you see him? I mean, cameras are like post-mortem. They give us information after it has what? It has happened. Actually, recently, I think PS and Juliana, you are the people experts in this. Someone was saying, can't you detect? Probably we should also, Dr. Chitogo, we should see how can a camera detect that someone is carrying a what? A dangerous item. Just as you go through the metal detector and something makes noise, probably the camera should make noise if they see you are carrying a dangerous what? Item and we detect it. But some of the experts have told me they are working on that. But I think that's AI. So I think the issue was the character of the police, not really that cameras are for big people. On payments, closing of radios, and you are condemning UCC because of licenses. Let me tell you one thing. We have 301 radio stations. We have, I don't know, I think 10,000. I think Juliana should get us the number of online what? Online radios, online TVs, online media, online newspapers. So business has become very competitive. Radio stations, TV stations are now losing what? Business. Because when we were young, the radio stations were the only ones which we used to announce death. And there was a guy called Salongo. We used to listen to him on our radio. And he passed away. Yes, that guy used to read announcements for one hour. But everybody was from Bugere Chadondo. I was still young. I didn't know where Bugere Chadondo is. But I think because Bugere Chadondo was near Radio Uganda, so I used to think it is only Bugere Chadondo where people die. But you know, he would read announcements for 1 complete hour. That's money. But now, someone dies. Within 5 seconds, WhatsApp has saturated that someone has what? Has died. So will you go to a radio station to place an announcement? Business is now competitive, and 301 radio stations to get business, it is very, very complicated. So these guys cannot break even. Not even the licensing. Even if we reduce the licenses now, still radio stations are going to close. We have now decided that we conduct workshops and seminars. We call everybody who wants to start, we just go somewhere and say, in a town and say, who are those who want to start the radio stations? And then we sit down, and then the Julianas calculate for them how much you're going to invest, and on average, how much you're going to do what? To earn. And how much expenses you have, so that people can see whether radio stations are viable or not. Some of the people who are in these radio stations are politicians, but for them, they are there purposely for campaigns. Puts up a radio station to carry his what? His campaign. But those who are there for business, it's terrible. And that's why they are not even paying you, because there is no business, very little business. But we have put in place measures. We are going to work with UCC. We are trying to conduct some research to see which radio stations have not yet paid workers. And we have the law. The law is very clear. If you're not paying workers, then we are going to switch you off. So I think basically those are some of the issues, but I would like to assure you that as ministers, we are going to see how we can work with radio stations and TVs, the media, so that ministers, as many ministers as possible, can go to your stations to respond to all these queries and then give the correct version of information. But I also beg you that when a minister comes there, don't abuse them. They need to be respected. Everybody needs to be respected wherever they are. Whether you don't agree with them in a very decent what? A very decent manner. Otherwise, there are some who can't tolerate that what? That abusive language on stations. And now I would also like to say, Doctor, now you used to be the hunter, you are now the hunted. You also talk to your technical officers that whenever we call them to go on radios, they should come with us, because there are some questions which are of technical what? Nature. But for us, you know, as politicians, we are normally on policy what? Policy issues, so that we clarify. But I thank you for coming. I thank you for listening to us, and we shall continue engaging. And now that you have known what NRM has done, please go and tell others to vote for NRM. And even you yourselves, can you please vote for NRM? And voting for NRM means also voting for President Yoweri Museveni, because he's coming in 2026. So those ones who are preparing to come, you should know the old man is coming again. And therefore you should tighten your what? Your belts. And all of us politicians who are here like me, I'm also coming. So we are not tired. We still want to lead this Uganda to its correct destination. I thank you very much, and I wish you all the best. Thank you, Director. Thank you, my technical officers, for being there for me, and I love you all.
Yes, let's put our hands together for a big applause. Yeah, that is Honorable Kabyanga for you. Maybe I only need to add that as you come in and the big man is coming, we will also bring you a new manifesto. So please receive it. On that note, I want to thank you once again for your coming. I want to thank you, Honorable Minister, and your team for your time and the insights on how we have moved on the different commitments within the manifesto in this sector. And like we have always agreed in principle, please go and communicate these facts in principle. The headline tomorrow should not say, Kabyanga agrees to what? To journalists being being arrested. Please, let the headline capture what we have received here on this journey of performance. Once again, we thank you. Tomorrow we'll be here at 9:30, beginning with another presentation in the morning. So we'll expect you to be here with you as we kick off the session. So thank you, and I wish you a good evening. I will now let's raise for the anthems in the reverse order, and then Honorable Minister, when we are done, we request you for a photo opportunity with your team. Thank you very much. Thank you, and be blessed.